All right, welcome back, watch fans. It's been a little bit while. Today we are. I think we might be. We might be doing. One of the last reviews of the Patek Philippe Cubitus. It's been. I've been away a little bit for a week or so. I've been very busy doing nothing. So let's talk about the Patek Philippe Cubitus. Is this marketing genius? Is this an Anthony Fowler level of a marketing genius, or is it an epic disaster? Yasha, welcome. All aboard the Patek Cubitus. All right, so let's kind of get into the watch, and just in honor of Gerald Genta, because again, these guys, everybody's milking the Gerald Genta designs for everything it's worth. In honor of Gerald Genta, I'm wearing probably his greatest creation ever, the Royal Oak. That's right, not the original, not his original Royal Oak, but the Royal Oak, the Owl, which all of a sudden is very hot right now. And let's face it, the Royal Oak, Audemars Piguet Royal Oak is, look, Gerald Genta was like a lot of great artists. Sometimes, they only make one or two great paintings that they're known for. And everything else, it's kind of, they're very experimental. They're not consistent. It's kind of a hit or miss. The Royal Oak was Gerald Genta's greatest design. The Nautilus is not close. Okay, it's not even close. The Patek Philippe Nautilus is not close. It's really amazing. Welcome, Gildan. But now what's happening is what I'm seeing right now with Patek is, I think this is it's a travesty. I mean, what they're doing right now is, Gerald Genta is spinning in his grave with this, knockoff of his design by Patek Philippe. I don't know if they're paying him. I don't think they're paying him because you know how the Swiss are. I don't think his estate is getting paid for this, for this design genius that they're doing here. Let me bring it up over here. Let me zoom in close on this dumpster fire that is. Now, I got to, there are a couple of things I like about this. I'll tell you, there's a couple of things I do like about it. I'll mention them real quick, and then I'll talk about, some of the kind of the nasty things about this watch. And there are plenty of nasty things about the watch. So look, let me kind of give you a high level overview here, right? When we're talking about watches, and I'm not going to talk about the movement, okay? I'm not talking about the engine in the car, okay? My philosophy is this. Look, the design of the watch is important, right? You're buying it for the looks, right? I mean, I don't know how many guys, married their wife because, she was a great cook or cleaned the house well. I mean, when they first looked at her, they weren't thinking, wow, I bet she makes an amazing lasagna, or, she can really, clean and press my shirts the way they need to be. I don't think anybody's thinking that, right? That's not the first. People think it looks, right? So the design is very important. And when it comes to design, my philosophy is form follows function. Okay, form follows function. In other words, you have to have a reason for certain design elements. Now, yeah, you can get away with a couple of flourishes, a couple of gestures, but there is nothing I hate worse than a fraud. And let me give an example of a fraud. Let me hang on a second. Let me pull up Bentley. Hang on. Let me pull this up. Hang on a second. Let me just pull this up just so we see an example of fraud here. Okay, I'm gonna just pull this up here. I don't know. I'm just pulling a Bentley, whatever. Where is this? Okay. Is this on the screen? Okay, so the last recent model years of Bentley, Audi for sure, they started doing these fake exhausts, these vents on the side. You see right above the wheel arch, it looks like a vent, like it's sporty. It's fake. There's no vent. It's a piece of plastic. It's just they slap on a cheap piece of plastic. It's like what a 17-year-old kid does on a Toyota, whatever, or a Honda, some sort of Japanese car. They put all sorts of plastic fake exhaust things, so it looks like it's a Maserati. It's a fake. Okay, it's a fake. That vent on the Bentley and the Audi does not work. Okay, it's a Fugazi. Okay, it's a Fugazi, and let me tell you, what does this Fugazi have to do with the Patek Cubitus? Yes, we will address. We will address. Okay, so let me explain to you the main issue I have with this, and then we'll talk about some of the nice things about it. So first of all, let's go through the design real quick. Let's talk a top level view. Is why did they do this? Right? They don't have any ideas. They don't have any ideas. They're lazy. Okay, listen. Patek has made a lot of mistakes. I talk about this. They're modern watches. I've made multiple videos. The stuff that's been done under Thierry Stern. I think Thierry Stern is a nice guy. He seems like a very nice guy. I hate saying this, but he's got no taste. I mean, I shouldn't say. I'm trying to say. How do I say this in a diplomatic way? He just doesn't have. It's not like what his father was. Okay, Philippe Stern. Okay, and listen, it's very difficult a lot of times for the kids to measure up to their parents, right? To the father. Trump was talking about this. I think it was in a video. A recent interview, which is these sports guys a lot of times their son is not as good. Like LeBron James, supposed to be a great basketball guy. His son, not as good, not as good. It just doesn't work that way. I hate to say this. It sounds rough. I'm just telling you the reality, and I'm very worried that that Patek has run out of ideas. Thierry Stern is not a guy has great design ideas. If you look at some of their design that's come out under his watch, the designs they're just boring. They're dull. He comes across like a dull guy. I'm sure he's a great guy. I hate to say this, but it's dull. Now, let me tell you what is this? What exactly is this watch, this Cubitus? You know what it is? It is what was called the North Ellipse. Patek did this before. These guys haven't had a new idea in so long. So what was this? This is something in the 90s, which was an epic dumpster fire, which was basically they ran out of ideas. And, the Nautilus was, at the time, the Nautilus was like the kind of, it wasn't hot, but the Ellipse was actually kind of hot. So they said, hey, why don't we combine, mash up, like what do they call it? What do they call the X? What do they call it? The collab. It's a collab. Nautilus meets the Ellipse, and I don't know what they called it, but it was nicknamed the Nautilus, and it was just a terrible watch. You couldn't give these away. You still can't give these away. But look at this. See, you got the bracelet, you got the Nautilus bracelet. Look what they did. Look, here's the monstrosity. You got the Nautilus bracelet, right? You have an Ellipse bezel mixed again, the Ellipse. So here's the thing with the Gerald Gente. Okay, the idea with Gerald Gente, when he did the Royal Oak, right? You had the screws, the whole thing. It was designed to look like a ship's porthole on a ship, a porthole, right? And when he did the Nautilus, it was designed to look like an old-time diver's mask. With the thing, you open it up, and that's why it has those gaskets. That's why the case has got that, like, it almost looks like you open it up, right? So, but it doesn't really work that way. So, but you can't, so why would they mix that in if it doesn't really work, right? And again, they probably have, I haven't seen this watch up close, the Nautilus. I don't think I want to see this up close, but they probably have that same kind of opening thing like a Nautilus, but it doesn't really work. It's a mess. It's a mess of designs, right? It's just a mess. How bad is it? I mean, so this is on collectability. I mean, this guy should be ashamed of himself. John Reardon should be ashamed of himself for showing this monstrosity on his site. And look, is this worn out? I don't know. Something is wrong with that. There should be a logo there. I don't see a logo. Maybe it was filed down. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, this is a disaster. Let me see if we can get a zoom in on this monstrosity up close. What a horrible watch. Horrible design. I mean, this is just a mess. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. Hang on a second. We missed it. Okay, hang on. Let me bring it back up. The watch was so terrible The watch was so terrible that the screen went away. Okay, there we go. So this is such a horrible watch. And again, the Cubitus is based on this. Nobody, I don't think anybody's talking about this. But look at this. Okay, so you see the back of it. It's kind of, it looks like they're trying to do the same thing with the gasket, the multi-part case, like the Nautilus is. I don't know if I'm using the right language or whatever, but that's what it is. It's just terrible. Again, the Patek has had many not has anybody talked about the what is it? Not the Aquanaut, what's the watch that they had in the late 90s? It was between the Aquanaut and the Nautilus. It was another aquatic name, another aquatic inspired name. It was a disaster. Okay, so let's go back. Now let's go back to this. So what is Patek doing? They're repeating that same mistake again. They're repeating the same mistake. So they're taking basically, they're taking that kind of the case idea, right? Okay, you got those, the fake thing there, which doesn't really, it doesn't work because it's supposed to be, right? The case is supposed to look like a diver's mask from the whatever, the 1940s, whatever, the old time diver's mask. When they had like an iron thing, aqualung, whatever. But it's not an octagon shape. It was designed to be like the Nautilus. So they're mixing these different design languages. They got the Nautilus bracelet. You got the octagon shape. Why are they doing the octagon shape? Why? Because they're trying to rip off. They're trying to play with the Royal Oak. They want to have something that's kind of like a Royal Oak, right? How many sides? It's 8 sides. That's right. They're trying to basically figure. It's like Anthony Farrer. The Anthony Farrer marketing genius when he had the blackout and other levels of marketing genius that he had. It's the same thing here. It's really the same thing. It really doesn't make any sense. Yes, yeah. No, what was the call? No. What's the Yasha? What was the watch in the late 90s? It was sort of like not the Nautilus, not the Aquanaut. It was the in between one. It'll come to me. Anyway, it'll come to me in a second. Somebody couldn't come up with it. It had the stupid stainless bracelet, the beads of right. Terrible design. You can't give those watches away. And then they base the 5712 off again. And look at this. What are they doing? They're just copying. The 5712. It's a 5712 layout. Well, no, I'm sorry. No, okay, I'm wrong. Instead of a power reserve, they have a seconds thing. Slightly better because power reserve. Who needs a power reserve really? So this is not that bad. It's not, the grand seconds. I mean, excuse me, the grand date. The grand date. I'm not a fan of it. I mean, I'm just not a fan of the big grand date. I like, the thing going in a rotary fashion. I like my dates going rotary. I'm not a fan of the grand date, but it's from a design standpoint, it's not bad. It looks kind of, I guess, kind of modern. It's not a look. It's not a horrible watch. I think what they're going to do is it's going to be a learning lesson. By the way, from the back, the watch looks like a Gerald Genta, one of his own label watches. I mean, it's really terrible what they're doing to this guy. He's spinning in his grave. I mean, they're ripping his designs off, and they're just destroying them with these like mixed metaphors of whatever. Again, so I'll tell you what I like about the watch. Okay, enough with the bad stuff. So Mrs. Lincoln, what did you like about the play, Mrs. Lincoln? Okay, let me address first a couple of questions, and I'll tell you what I like about the watch. I'll tell you it does have some nice things. I do have some nice things to say. Yes. Yeah, they don't want to be about Nautilus. Yeah, I mean, they just built a new factory. they got to make money. Okay, they probably have interest expenses. Yeah, they gotta pay the bills, right? They need to be commercial. They're cranking out a lot of watches. They have to meet market demand. That's a fact, right? There's a fact of modern reality. All the guys are complaining, "Oh, I can't get any watches. I can't get any watch." Well, now you're gonna have more watch. You're gonna have watches, Patek, coming out of your ears. They actually, because they can't even give them away. A lot of these modern Pateks, they're just they're selling, but they're all going to be below retail. If they're not below retail now, they're going to be below retail. I don't see any modern Patek, any of the modern releases that's like has any upside. I'm sorry, I hate to say this because I like Patek. I like I have 4 or 5 of them. I don't have 5. I think I have 4 or 5. I don't know. I have multiple Pateks. But I'm worried because I think they might destroy the brand. Yeah, Platypus, exactly. What was the can somebody please tell me what was the watch from the 90s? The Neptune, the Patek Neptune. Oh, the Patek Philippe Neptune. Oh shit. So the Patek Philippe Neptune. I mean, oh, the Patek Neptune. Is it as bad? Is the Patek Neptune as bad as? Hang on a second. Is the Patek Philippe Neptune as bad as? Well, they're not making it anymore, right? How bad is the Neptune? Look, the design, I mean, the basic movement, it's what you get in the 5712, right? Which was the hottest watch. The hottest watch. Why did this watch not take off? I remember seeing these when they came out in the boutique. Like, I didn't know what they were. And some guys are trying to like revive this because I think some deal, the prices got cheap in the like low 20s, and you're thinking, okay, for 20 grand may not be a bad deal because 5712 is how much? 70 grand? I don't even know. I have no idea. So some dealers bought it as kind of like, it's almost like an arbitrage bet. Like, hey, we got this, it's such a deep value compared to the Nautilus. And it's the same watch. It's exactly the same watch as a Nautilus. It's the same. What's that cartoon movie about the guy who's the Aquaman? The Aquaman. These are what they should come out with a watch called the Aquaman. Aquaman. That should be their next watch. And they should get who should they get to play it? The guy Aquaman, the original Aquaman. That's the guy from Entourage, right? They should get what's the guy's name? The actor from Entourage. I think he played Aquaman, right? That was his big movie, Aquaman. Their next watch should be an Aquaman. I mean, what a disaster. So one of the worst parts about the watch, frankly, is the bracelet is such a hot mess. It looks like an Audemars Piguet Cobra, which now is a hot watch, but it's such an ugly watch. You can't, it's disgusting. The Audemars Piguet Cobra, look it up. I can't bring it up on the screen. It's so disgusting. I was going to buy one purely as a flip, just as a speculation. It was price went bananas. Yeah, listen, Gildan nails it on the head. Look, the people who are buying retail Patek are pure trash. The people who are buying Patek at retail, these watches, it's the scum of the earth. It's basically guys who just want to flex. They don't know anything about watches. They're just buying a watch to get kudos, as Archie would say. You know who it is. We know who we're talking about. Like, it's the low lives. It's the groomers. It's the O'Cuck guys. We're talking about the watch colony people. It's the low lives. They want to basically, they're giving somebody a hand job at the dealer or whatever else. They're giving sexual favors. They're getting that watch so they can brag. Oh, I got the watch. I got it for, brand new. I'm the first one to have it. Sure enough, the watch becomes, worthless, or, it's not going to be worthless. It just drops, dramatically below retail, like typically they do, right? It's not real. This stuff is it's all fugazi. All right, it's all a fugazi. Now, I'll tell you what I like about it. Let me tell you things I do like about the watch. It's not all terrible. But again, I'm just showing you the history of Patek's greatest hits, that they've had many, many disasters. Okay, I don't want to hear the stuff that they're infallible, the classic. Patek Philippe, I'll repeat this right now. Patek Philippe is, look, a lot of great artists. Again, I'm using the art metaphor because, again, art, design, same thing. A lot of great artists, if they're experimental, they're going to have hits and misses. They're going to have their share of dogs, right? Look at this guy who's like the hottest artist right now. What's his name? He's like a fake Picasso. What the hell's his name? Not fake. He's doing a thing like George Condo. George Condo. So George Condo, very experimental guy. He does interesting things, right? And he came out. He was very hot in the 80s. Okay, he was like Basquiat in the 80s. And by the way, Basquiat is another guy, overhyped, total. I mean, not total garbage. He's a guy who could be like a George Condo, maybe $1 million, not these crazy prices. So George Condo, a red hot artist in the early 80s. Then he fell off the map. You couldn't give this stuff away. He went through kind of an experimental phase, even then later on. Now he's red hot, right? Like everybody with money wants a George Condo on their wall. Why? It's all about, bragging status, right? Let me pull up a George Condo. But George Condo has had many, many dogs, right? Many dogs. I mean, there's very few guys who could be, consistent. It's not easy. It's not easy being consistent, right? So George Condo, right? He's had quite a few dogs. I mean, I don't know. This is a hot mess. Okay, let me see. Okay, so George Condo, just so you see what I'm talking about, right? This is like that painting on the right. That's like the Patek Cubitus. It's a mashup of like, I don't know. It's a hot mess. It's a mashup of different ideas. It's the wrong condo. It's the wrong condo. It's not the one you want. The one you want is something kind of look like, sort of like this, kind of like the one that you see in that picture. That's kind of the image you want. Something like that. Maybe something like this. Actually, this is actually a great painting by George Condo. And he's had many dogs. He's had many, many dogs with fleas. Many dogs with fleas. What is this? A hot mess. Again, these guys experiment. You're going to have hits and misses. Okay, I'll tell you what I like about the watch. Let's talk about the things I do like about the watch. Okay, so guys, get ready for this. I'm going to tell you what I love about the Patek Cubitus. Before I tell you what I like about the Cubitus, make sure you click the like and subscribe button to the channel, and you get our free weekly newsletter. You got to get our free weekly newsletter. Click the link in the video description below for the latest news on Patek, modern, vintage, Audemars Piguet, everything, Rolex. Click the link in the video description below to get a free newsletter. If you don't like it, unsubscribe, okay? Just unsubscribe. Saatchi buying it. Yeah. Okay, so Charles Saatchi is actually a genius. Charles Saatchi is a marketing genius. He's no Anthony Farr. Charles Saatchi has been a marketing genius for decades. I mean, we're talking about, I don't know, decades. He's been on the money for 50 years. I don't know how long, 50 years. Charles Saatchi. Like, that guy is legitimately a marketing genius. Oh, is this the Daniel? Oh, this is not the real Daniel Katz. Yeah. Yeah. So what it is, yeah, the watch colonoscopy channel. Yeah, it's a bunch of guys. You got these groomers, you got these guys who buying these hype watches that they think, oh, this is the thing that is good. Again, I don't want to get into it. We're going to try to keep this a very PG rated today. I don't, with all this stuff. But look, there's people who collect watch. But this is the thing I hate about. I'm really getting turned off by a lot of stuff with watches. But there's people who are really into watches. They just collect the watches, right? Then there's these guys who have to go on Instagram. It's part of their whole life is to connect with other guys, it's a weird, like, these guys that like to be around other, it's a weird way for them to, I mean, there's a homoerotic element to it, which, I've talked about. There's a weird and creepy homoerotic element to, some of these watch communities. But yeah, they buy these watches to, like, just so that they could, talk about it and be seen as, oh, I have access. I have access. I have access. I have access to a watch that's going to be worthless. Then there's people who are real collectors. They buy stuff that is, I think the idea with watch collecting, I think there's really two things. I think there's really two camps you could be in. This is the thing. Either you're going to be kind of collecting, vintage or neo-vintage or whatever it is, interesting stuff that is kind of, you're buying. I think there's three camps. There's kind of the guys who are buying the vintage, neo-vintage. When I say vintage, I'm talking about 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever, 80s. You're buying the thing that's going to come back into fashion again. I'm kind of in that camp. So I bought this watch, 6 years. No, this is 6 years ago. Yeah, 6-7 years ago. And it was, it wasn't hot then, right? I mean, well, Royal Oaks they were warming up, but nobody wanted two-tone. They were not buying the smaller ones, the owl for sure not. Sure enough, the price triples. Then you have the guys who are buying, like, the weird horology, like, you have like that guy, what's his name? The weird, they just want weird movements. They're just into movements. I highly respect those people. I don't understand. Then you have the guys who buy, like, innovation. You're talking about the MB&F, or they're buying ore work for the innovation. They're just into the mechanics of it. That's a different mindset. And then you have these low lives who buy stuff because it's like hot, whatever, so they could flex it, right? That's what it is. Actually, it's interesting. Well, here's the thing. The guys who are buying watches, the guys who are flexing watches, they're not at the level, they don't understand. Here's the thing. There's a different level. As the kids say, there's levels to these things. There's levels. There's levels, to collect art, you do need to do it successfully. You got to have a brain. You need a little bit of a level of sophistication. It's not for everybody, especially at a higher level. And there's a big difference between contemporary art. You're getting into old masters. That's like people who are, like, much, much more intellectually involved. The guys who buy watches, and by the way, the thing with collecting art, it's a private thing, right? Because it's in your house. It's hanging in your house. Nobody knows you have it unless you're inviting people to your house to show it off, which people do, but that's a whole different thing. You need a lot of money to do that. Again, there's levels to that game. The guys who buy watch, that's a poor man's flex. That's like, hey, it's like, you really can't afford a Lambo, which is, $300,000, because that's like, you need 3 other cars. You can't drive that every day. But a watch, yeah, you could have it as a flex thing because you could wear it everywhere, right? So it's kind of the poor man's flex. It's very accessible, which makes it great. That's why the watch market is a massive, massive $30 billion market. And it's grown. God, the cat is out of the bag, okay? The cat is out of the bag in the watch game. It's huge, which is why we have, of course, without talking about our favorite stock, which is New World Solutions. That's right. The Watch Report. Guys, did you know that the Watch Reporter channel is part of? That's right. It's part of a publicly traded company, and the stock has doubled in the last 30 days. Pulled back a little bit over here, bit of a pullback, which is perfectly normal. But we're not going to talk about it here. But yeah, if you want a pure play on this massive opportunity, and you want to capitalize on all these. On this whole social media flex thing, and again, why not? Listen, you don't hate the. What do they say? Don't hate the player, hate the game, right? Or take advantage of this market opportunity, right? And that's what this is. It is a market opportunity. I think the watch market is actually going to be bigger than ever. These guys are saying, "Oh, the watch market, it's not dead." You got a whole new people coming into it. It's different levels, vintage. Independent watches, it's bigger than ever. Believe me. Now, let me tell you what I do like about the watch. I'll address the comments, and I'll tell you what I do like about the watch, because it does have some really nice things I do like about it. So, fake tough guy, groomer, credit card guy, fake rich. Yeah, that is weird. That is weird, right? There's some weird guy. So you have one of those guys again. Speaking of fake Rolex, you know what it is? The Cubitus is like a fake Rolex. And like one of the guys in the colonoscopy channel was known to wear a fake Daytona, which is one of the worst things you could do. Why is this watch like a fake Rolex? I'll tell you why. It's like the fake vents on that Bentley, on the Audi, those intake, they're fake. I mean, I just hate that. The fake air vents, intake vents on a car that are disgusting. This watch is fake. Why? Because those gasket, well, it has no function. This is not, it's a total atrocity what they're done to Gerald Genta's design. Yeah, people. Yeah. By the way, the watch is going to do very well for. This is going to be a very hot watch, no question. It's going to sell at a premium, I think, for quite a while. If you can get this at retail, get it. If this is offered to you at retail, absolutely get it. This is a great flip watch. It is a great flip watch. But you want to be out of this. I think this watch is going to have a run for about 6 months. It's going to have a 6-month run. Now, let me tell you what I do like about the watch, because it does have some really nice things about it. Okay, so first of all, I'm a sucker for two-tone. The rose gold is beautiful. The combination of steel and rose gold here, and this blue dial. The blue dial here is beautiful. Not all blues are the same, and I haven't seen them in person, but I'm pretty sure from like what I can tell, the dial is going to be stunning. Okay, it's going to be like that. What do they call the El Jefe, which is the Nautilus. What is it? The chronograph, which is again a horrible watch. It's a total disaster. Not what Gerald Gent again would be spinning in his grave if he saw somebody wearing that El Jefe watch. Again, it's one of the people in the colonoscopy channel has one. It's a disaster. The case back, I don't know. It's not even. I don't want to get into it, but the rose gold here, beautiful stainless. The color combination is really nice. I like the idea of an octagonal shape. Okay, what I don't like is, I would love to. If they came up with an octagonal watch, it was a dress watch or whatever, I would be into it. But to mix it with a Nautilus, it just doesn't work. It's like you're mixing two design metaphors. It just doesn't work. You're mixing two different design languages. Now back to this guy here. Again, lazy watch. They're trying to do. Oh, this is the platinum, right? I think it's a platinum. Is this a platinum? Yeah, it is a platinum. And I think there's a baguette diamond at the base of it, right? At the base. This is actually better, because you know what's better about this is you don't see that nasty Nautilus bracelet. So it doesn't look, although you do have, just like the 5712, you have a little bit of the Nautilus. Hang on, let's take a look. What kind of clasp do they have on here? That's what I want to know. Where's the clasp? Oh, by the way, the one thing, okay, so the grand date, it's instantaneous. It's supposed to be, that's like a technical innovation. Apparently it's hard to do. I don't know. I mean, it's okay. I mean, I wouldn't know. Because what do I know? I don't want to get involved in this. Where's the clasp? I want to see the clasp. The movement is nice. Look at this movement. I mean, it's a nice looking movement. I mean, people who are into the movements. I mean, the problem is they give you this little window in the back. They give you this like a little window, so you could kind of see it. Where's the clasp? Oh, oof. Oh, oh, horrible. Oh, this is, oh, ow. Oh my God, this is the worst. I'm sorry. I can't get into this. This is fucking disaster. Hang on, what happened to my screen here? Oh, hang on. I got to pull up this atrocity for just a second so you just get a taste of this. Okay. You see this clasp? Again, no imagination. This is what they did with the Nautilus clasp on a strap. And this one is not as bad looking. So they use a font typeface with a font. Again, if you're gonna have a war, if you're gonna call something Cubitus, I would imagine that the font you would use is more, it's got a certain geometric shape. The font should have a geometric shape, but no, they don't think of it. They don't. These guys don't even think it like that. They don't even think about that. They're just gonna, pull a random font, pull a random serif font out of the case, put it on there, slap it on. Again, this looks just like the Nautilus. Very lazy. I mean, it's kind of a little bit more evolved, a little bit smoother. But again, why would you have this serif font with a brand called Cubitus? It doesn't make any sense. I would imagine more of a, again, geometric type of. I mean, again, they don't think about anything. So lazy. Who's running this place? Who's running it? I mean, what a shit show. Okay, then they do the thing for the Arabs, the green dial. The green dial. Okay, they got to do the green dial to sell in Dubai. Okay, I get it because, steel, because apparently I think it's not a Muslim thing, but I think it's in the Middle East. Apparently, it's like a sort of like a not culturally. It's not a. I don't think it's a religious thing. I think it's like a cultural thing about men not wearing gold, which okay. So they do a stainless steel watch with a green dial. I mean, the pandering. I mean, these guys are pandering so hard. It's almost like, imagine if Kamala Harris was, giving away fried chicken to get voters to sign up. I mean, imagine if Kamala Harris, who claims to be black and she's not even black, imagine if she shows up in Harlem and starts giving away fried chicken to get people to sign up to vote. I mean, that's what it is. The pandering. That's how bad this is. I mean, it's a total disaster. Yeah. The blue is nice though. The colors, they're nice colors. Okay. Did I tell you what I like about this? Grand date. I think, okay, so I think Langa, at least legitimately Langa, I think that's their thing, the grand date, right? That's their trademark. Leave it to Langa, okay? Why, again, these guys are stealing from Langa, they're stealing from Royal Oak, they're stealing from everybody. I don't think it's, no, okay, so it's not quite the, okay, I don't see the screw holes there, but it is, it's not, I don't see the Santos. I see it's just a mashup between, between too many bad designs. Oh, the Chronopiece. Oh, Chronopiece, that's the guy in Japan, right? That's the guy in Japan. We did a review of his collection. He's got like literally this guy's got like a maybe a $60 million watch collection by now. He's just buying everything. Like this guy's like a giant whale that just like opens his mouth and just takes in everything. Yeah, he can probably get all three, right? He can get all three if he wants it. I don't know if he would even ever sell them. Yeah, okay. Gil, okay, so Gil, it's a very good point, right? So you can't really, okay, so if you're going to use something like as an asset, a hard asset to, let's say, to transact in, I'm not asking why you need to carry something around different countries instead of cash, whatever your reasons are. You can't, you can put a watch on your wrist and go anywhere, right? But your painting, nah, your painting is gonna have to get shipped. You're gonna have to crate it. It's gonna have to be shipped. So definitely it's gonna go through customs, and you're gonna have to pay the import duty, which is like I think 20%. On art, it's like 20%. I don't know what it is on watch. I know on art it's like 20%, and that's I think in Germany and in France. I think it was in France. It's big. It's a lot. I mean, I think in Italy it's high. It's high. A watch, again, a watch. You can move anywhere. And again, also people, yeah, that's yeah. So yeah, it's the other thing is the only people who do entertain is really people who have a lot of money. And because, in other words, they kind of use it as almost like a business thing, right? Like you throw a fundraiser in your house to basically, network, whatever. A fundraiser, a big thing. It's, women love it, right? Parties. Nobody invites me to any parties, so I wouldn't even know about these things. Would I rather have? I think I might have an NFT. The Cubitus sounds like. The Cubitus does sound like one of those NFTs, like the farting ape of NFTs. Yeah. Wow. I don't think anybody likes it. Ooh, the Yachtmaster 2. Oof. Oof. Oh, that's brutal. The Yachtmaster 2 is nasty and vicious. Okay. You know what's not nasty and vicious? A free weekly newsletter. And if you click to the subscribe button, you're going to get the newsletter. And by the way, it looks a lot better than this. It doesn't look like this. It looks a lot better. It looks like kind of the thing on the right, but better. Click the link in the video description below to get our free weekly newsletter for the latest on Patek Philippe and, Rolex, Audemars Piguet, all that other stuff. Okay, let me just wrap up on Patek. Let me just give a little more hate to Patek, and then I'm going to wrap it up here. Hang on a second. Let me get rid of this. Banners. Hang on. There we go. Okay, I lose people when that thing goes on. All right. Let me just show the Patek website to tell you, just in case you don't know everything that I hate about Patek, modern Patek, I should say. Let me just refresh your memory. So again, the new line of this is modern Patek. What is this gondolo? Explain this to me. Okay, oh, these are women's watches. Okay, I get this. I mean, pearls. Okay, I don't know. I don't know if this is a good idea to wear pearls, a pearl bracelet on a watch, because they're delicate, right? I don't know how they. Who thought this was a good idea? Pearl. I mean, not a good idea. I mean, let me see. Okay, let me go with this. Okay, I'm not gonna make any jokes about pearls. I don't want to be, it's gonna be too easy, and okay. So okay, let me give you the greatest hits and misses of Patek. Let me show you. This is modern Patek. This is everything wrong with Patek can be summed up right here. This is their lineup. What is this? A 10, 20? What do they call this? I don't even know what this is. I think this is the women's line. Boring, uninspired, just like a lazy design. Let me see what else. Collection. Okay, you got this, which is like the grand complications. Okay, you got this piece of shit, which who bought one of this? Mark Zuckerberg bought one of these. I think who likes this? The Okuk guy. I think he's a fan of this. This is what he was talking about. I mean, one of the nastiest watches ever. This unibrow look. I get these. Okay, they ruined a great design with these Breguet numerals on the, what are they called? The 5327, originally 3940. The Breguet numerals don't belong there. You got this dog shit, which another one of the suckers. There are a couple of the suckers on the channels. You got these syringe hands. You got a vintage look on a modern watch. They're trying to do this vintage modern, collab. I explained to you why it's a piece of shit. Freeports. No, but if you bring a painting into a country, you got to pay duty unless you ship it to a free port, but it has to stay in the free port. I guess the watch. Yeah, right. The watch is easy to carry. Easy to carry. Green Rush. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so let me wrap it up here. Let me wrap it up on this note. What a disaster of Patek. Okay, now let me ask you this: do any of these watches? Would I buy any of these watches? No, because the only reason I mean, honestly, I'm going to just straight up. The only reason to spend retail on a watch, and this is going to sound very bad. Either you really, really, really love it, like it's got to be some, like I don't know, and you know you're going to lose money. All these watches, you're going to lose money. None of these watches have any upside. These are all discount to retail. And here's the thing: even if you do buy the discount to retail, it's going to be dead money, and you're going to be wearing a dog. It's just dogs with fleas, dogs with fleas. Calatrava. You know what? Okay, another Thierry Stern marketing genius watch. Look at this. Wow. I mean, who comes up with these ideas? Who comes up with these ideas? I'll tell you what's bullish though for the watches. I'll tell you what's bullish. By the way, I don't want to come across like a hater of Patek. I'm actually wearing, believe it or not, can you see this? Ellipse cufflinks. That's right. I'm going to pull this up here. There we go. The Ellipse. Yeah. I'm going to make this. The Ellipse cuff, not the giant one, the classic size in yellow gold with a blue enamel, which I bought on eBay. Full set. Well, not full set. Box. It came with a box. $600. All right. So there are deals out there. And this is a couple of years ago. I don't know. I think this was actually during COVID. I think now it's a lot more. I mean, they're like in a couple of grand. Would I pay a couple of grand for Ellipse cufflinks? Absolutely not. But $600, they're worth it. Because it's, you know, I'm not into this. Oh, it's close to melt value. But look at this, another piece of garbage. This engraving. It looks like some sort of like weird, like creepy tattoo thing. I don't know. It's just weird. You know who might be into this? Like that guy, Paul Thorpe. I mean, actually, I should say, you know what? It's a particular design. I actually could appreciate. It's interesting. It's interesting. I wouldn't buy it. It is kind of interesting. And they've done some incredible things with the handcraft line. Incredible things. The Patek handcraft line is... I did a whole video on this. I mean, what they're doing with the handcraft line is incredible. I mean, marquetry. I mean, this is legitimately genius. And I talked about this before, like the handcraft line, what they do with the enamel, some of their stuff, like especially the marquetry. This again, this duck or whatever it is, the heron. It's a pocket watch. I mean, it's all tiny slivers of wood. And the eye is just so beautiful. Look at this eye. I mean, they've done some others which are incredible. I mean, it is, I mean, literally, whoever did this is, I mean, super top level genius. Without exaggeration. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not kidding. The guys who do the handcraft line, and I do appreciate that Patek is, you know, putting resources into the handcraft. Look at this. Wow. I mean, what a watch. I mean, this is a Kiwi. Beautiful. It is beautiful. I think this is like this is some sort of thing for the currency or something. It's an engraving. It's an engraving. I mean, okay, this is, but who's going to buy this? Very few people. Very, very few people. Very few people. And do these watches have upside? I'll tell you what, if you can buy it like below, like, you know, in the secondary market, deep discount, it's worth it because it's a one of a kind, literally, legitimately one of a kind. I mean, because they may have a few pieces, but you know, each one is going to be different. I mean, that is top level stuff. So I'm not a hater of Patek. By no means. I think they're doing. This one is a dog. I don't know what's going on here. Dog with fleas. Dog with fleas. Okay, whatever. But some of them are, you know, what, just incredible stuff. Anyway, all right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Did we? Yeah. The pornographic, the erotic watches. It's really, that's like your fifth watch, basically. It's like the watch you wear, you know, when you have everything else. So, all right, with that said, guys, thank you everybody for joining. Make sure you click the like, subscribe button, and you subscribe to our free newsletter, and we'll see you in the next one. We're going to have a review this week. We're going to have a couple of videos. We'll do a live stream about the some auction reviews, some interesting auction reviews. We're going to talk about some other There's interesting things happening in the watch space. And I'm actually very bullish on the watch business. Why is it? Because, you know, we're in a golden age for watch collecting, okay? You have a whole new, millions of new people have come into the hobby, and you have also new stuff, right? You have independent watches. We can do whole videos on all the cool things happening in the independent world. Incredible innovation. And I'm not talking about MB&F. I'm talking about Simone Brett. Well, there's a whole bunch of great innovators. I'm not even talking about FP Journe. Incredible innovation happening. Golden age of innovation. And then you have also interesting things in vintage coming out of the woodwork. You have new trends starting. And you still have other, you know, new watches coming out from other guys, whether it's Rolex or whatever. Rolex is, you know, I hate to say it, Rolex does really nice work. Rolex has been at least consistent. So I'm very, very bullish on the watch market. I think we're gonna we're entering a golden age. And if you want a pure play on this, check out this stock. Put this on your watch list. That's right, not investment advice. We're not here to give you investment advice, but put this stock on your watch list if you want a pure play on the $31 billion luxury watch market. According to McKinsey & Company, they know what they're talking about.